My name is Evelyn. I am 27 years old and I live in a quiet American town where people smile politely but watch everything closely. The houses are old, the streets are clean, and secrets do not stay hidden for long. That is why I have lived in fear for the past 2 years. I am a widow, I am a mother, and I am hiding a truth that could destroy everything. My husband Daniel died in a car accident. Everyone says he was kind, honest, and loyal. They say he was the perfect man. I agree with them. Daniel loved me deeply, and I loved him too. But love does not stop people from making mistakes. Sometimes love grows tired. Sometimes loneliness grows louder. I am pregnant because of a night that should never have happened. A night I replay in my mind again and again. A night that changed my life forever. My baby is not my husband's child. No one knows this, not Daniel's parents, not my friends, not even the man who is the real father. Every morning I wake up and look at my son sleeping peacefully. His chest rises and falls slowly. He looks innocent, pure. He has no idea that his existence is built on silence and lies. I touch his tiny hand and promise myself I will protect him at any cost. This is not a story about betrayal alone. It is a story about grief, weakness, fear, and survival. It is about how one mistake can echo through an entire lifetime. Before you judge me, listen to my story. I am not asking for forgiveness. I only want to be understood. It all began 7 years ago when I met Daniel for the first time in a small flower shop on Main Street. I met Daniel when I was 20. I worked at a flower shop, arranging roses and lilies for weddings and funerals. Daniel walked in one afternoon wearing a grey suit and a shy smile. He asked for flowers for his mother. His voice was calm, his eyes kind. That day, he stayed longer than necessary, asking about my work, my dreams, my life. After that, he returned every week. Sometimes he bought flowers, sometimes he just talked. Slowly, our conversations turned into coffee dates, and coffee dates turned into love. Daniel was steady, reliable, safe. He proposed 2 years later, and I said yes without hesitation. We married in a small church. Our families were proud, life felt complete. But after marriage, things changed quietly, the way they often do. Daniel became focused on work. He stayed late. He talked about promotions and future plans. I supported him, but I started feeling invisible. We tried to have a baby. Month after month, nothing happened. Each failure hurt more than the last. I smiled during the day and cried at night. Daniel tried to be strong, but the distance between us grew. That was when Lucas, Daniel's best friend, became a regular presence in our home. They had grown up together. Lucas was different from Daniel, louder, warmer, always joking. He fixed things around the house and stayed for dinner often. I trusted him completely. One stormy evening, Daniel was working late again. The thunder was loud. The rain felt endless. I was scared and alone. When the doorbell rang, I did not expect my life to fall apart. It was Lucas, standing there, soaked from the rain, asking if I was okay. That night, loneliness spoke louder than loyalty. Lucas came inside, and I made tea with shaking hands. The storm outside was violent, but the house felt strangely quiet. I told him everything about Daniel, about the baby we couldn't have, about how lonely I felt in my own marriage. Lucas listened. He didn't interrupt. He didn't judge. He just listened. When he held my hand, I should have pulled away. Instead, I held on tighter. I wish I could say it was complicated. It wasn't. It was weakness. It was grief before grief even arrived. That night, we crossed a line we could never erase. The next morning, guilt crushed me. Lucas left early, ashamed and silent. We agreed never to speak of it again. I promised myself I would fix my marriage. 2 days later, Daniel died. The police came in the evening. I remember the officer's voice shaking as he spoke. A truck, a wet road, instant death. The world collapsed around me. I screamed. I begged. I lost the man I loved. The funeral was a blur. People cried. Lucas stood beside me, broken. No one knew what we were hiding. 2 weeks later, I felt sick every morning. I blamed grief. Until I saw the pregnancy test. Positive. I counted the days. I counted them again. The truth hit me like a knife. The baby was not Daniel's. Fear became my constant companion. I made a choice that day. A terrible choice. I would lie. I would protect everyone. I would carry this secret alone. When I told Daniel's parents I was pregnant, they cried with joy. They said Daniel lived on through the baby. Lucas believed the lie too. Or maybe he needed to. And so my silence became permanent. My son Noah was born on a quiet spring morning. He was small, warm, and perfect. When I looked at him, love replaced fear for a moment. But then I saw his light hair, his blue eyes. They were not Daniel's. Everyone said he looked like an angel. They said Daniel would be proud. I nodded and smiled while my heart screamed. Lucas stayed close. He helped with everything. He thought he was honoring his best friend. Sometimes I caught him staring at Noah with confusion, but he never asked questions. As Noah grew, the resemblance became impossible to ignore. People started noticing. Neighbors whispered. Daniel's mother made comments about genetics. I became skilled at lying. Each lie weighed heavier than the last. At night, I talked to Daniel's photograph. I apologized. I cried. I asked for forgiveness I would never receive. I considered telling the truth many times. But every option led to destruction. Daniel's parents would hate me. Lucas would hate himself. Noah would lose the only father he ever knew. So I stayed silent. Years passed. Noah is 3 now. He laughs loudly. He calls Lucas uncle. Sometimes I see them together. Same smile, same eyes, and my chest tightens with fear. Secrets do not disappear. They wait. I know one day the truth may come out. I live with that fear every day. But until then, I choose love over honesty, peace over chaos. This is my darkest secret. I am not proud of it, but I am surviving. People believe lies when lies make life easier. That is the hardest truth I have learned. Daniel's parents see Noah as a miracle. Lucas sees him as hope. Noah sees a world full of love. Only I see the cracks underneath everything. Sometimes I imagine telling Lucas the truth. I imagine his face changing, shock, pain, guilt. I imagine him walking away forever, unable to forgive himself or me. Other times I imagine him understanding, but reality is rarely kind. I raise Noah carefully. I teach him kindness, honesty, responsibility. I teach him everything I fear he may one day lose. At night, when the house is quiet, fear visits me. What if Noah asks questions? What if he notices? What if the truth finds its way out without my permission? I live with consequences every day, but I also live with purpose. I am not a villain. I am a woman who made a mistake and chose to protect a child above all else. Maybe one day I will tell Noah the truth, when he is strong enough, when he can understand that love is sometimes messy and imperfect. Until then, I carry this burden alone. This story is not an excuse. It is not advice. It is simply my reality. Life is not black and white. Sometimes good people make terrible decisions. Sometimes love grows from broken places. If you are listening to this and carrying a secret of your own, know this: you are not alone. Shame survives in silence, but understanding begins with honesty, even if it comes late. I do not know how my story will end. I only know how it continues today. I wake up, I make breakfast, I kiss my son's forehead. I choose to move forward. I will protect Noah with everything I have. I will raise him to be better than me, kinder than me, braver than me. Maybe one day the truth will set us all free. Or maybe love will be enough to hold us together. This is my darkest secret, and this is my life.